back in the old automobile. So I want to tell you a story today. I think today is going to be a story time kind of day. It goes way back to when yours truly was a wee child. I would always go to the grocery store with my mom, and this was back when I was quite literally 8 years old. And back then, the grocery stores had movie rental sections. And it wasn't just a section, it was like a whole room. It was like a movie rental store inside the grocery store. And I believe it was in Albertsons, if I'm remembering correctly. At least this is how it was in Kansas. There was a movie rental store in the grocery store. And what would happen is every week when my mom would go grocery shopping, it would usually be on a weekend. I would assume it was a weekend because I wasn't in school. She would go grocery shopping and I would walk around the video store. And while my mom did grocery shopping, I would look at all the movies and I would pick a movie or two that we would rent. And I loved it because, you know, I got to pick any movie I wanted. At the time, my siblings either weren't born or very, very little, so it was all on me. I got to watch whatever movie I wanted, so it was like the best thing ever. So, one day, I was standing in the checkout line with my mom to rent this movie, and I noticed a package of cards. Now, I was 8 years old. I really had no idea what these cards were. I had heard of people like collecting trading cards, like collectibles, and I remember thinking, pack of cards, and I just wanted them. I mean, I was an 8-year-old. I thought that they were gonna be cool. I had heard of people collecting baseball cards. I had seen the movie The Sandlot. Because I think by this point I had seen the movie The Sandlot. I forget what year it came out, but everybody remembers the movie The Sandlot, right? Baseball and collectible balls, collectible baseball cards. I wanted some cards, and there was a package of cards, so I asked my mom if I could have them. And she said yes, because my mom is awesome. So she bought me a package of baseball cards. I got home, I opened up the cards, I was super excited, never had cards before, and they were the most boring thing in the world to me. I was a girl, I played with Barbies, I could have cared less about baseball cards, but in the moment, I wanted them. So instead of just throwing them out, because I mean, if I wasn't gonna use them, what else was I gonna do? I decided, I don't know what persuaded me. I don't know where I got the idea. Honestly and truly, I have no idea where the idea came. I have no idea where the idea came from. But I took the baseball cards to school and I started selling them to my classmates for 10 cents a piece. And I sold them all in like 2 days. Sold them all. And I came to my mom and I asked her if we could go back to the store so that I could buy more baseball cards. And my mom was really curious as to why I wanted more baseball cards, because she had never even seen me use or play with the ones that she just bought me. So she asked me why I wanted more baseball cards, and I told her because they're all gone and I want to sell more. I was in 3rd grade, and I remember it was 3rd grade specifically because I thought that my teacher was the devil. I hated my teacher. She was so mean, and when she realized, whoa, big bumps. when she realized I was selling cards to the other students, she got all mad about it and she called my mom. So I remember it was 3rd grade just because of this damn teacher. Ugh. This teacher was the bane of my existence, I'm telling you. Do you guys remember having a teacher that just drove you crazy? That was my 3rd grade teacher. So I was 8. I was 8 going on 9. And I just remember the feeling of selling and making money and how awesome it felt. It felt awesome. Just having something that people wanted, because these kids, I mean, they wanted these cards. I sold them to boys, I sold them to girls. I don't know what. Maybe they thought they needed baseball cards for the same reason I did. Maybe they thought that baseball cards were the coolest thing ever. They were talking about collectible baseball cards in movies and stuff. Maybe they thought just like I did, that baseball cards were the coolest thing ever. They wanted them, so they would pay 10 cents a piece. At that point, I didn't know like what kind of, I didn't know profit margins. I didn't know if I made money or lost money. I was 8, and I just knew that selling things to people that wanted them and getting money in my pocket, it was a good feeling. So from there, I remember trying to come up with ways to make money. And they were definitely ways of a child thinking to make money. You know, I remember after that, one of the next things that I tried to do was I tried to create a carnival in my driveway. I remember that. A carnival in my driveway. I remember planning it out. I planned it out. I created like those, what are they? Where you toss the little bean bags in the holes, the beanbag toss. I took cardboard and I created cutouts, and I did like a I did like a little beanbag thing, and there was hopscotch, of course, on the driveway. I had a pogo stick, and so there was like a pogo stick competition for a prize, and the prizes were like the toys from my bedroom that I didn't want anymore. And I remember there was like a hula hoop jump thing. I had a couple of hula hoops and I positioned them to do something, I don't know, but I made a carnival in my driveway. And I charged like a $5 admission, a $5 admission fee for my little carnival. Nobody came because, you know, when you're 8, 9 years old, you have no idea how to market. I put like a sign up at the end of my driveway marketing it. That was it. I mean, this was back in 93. So I had no idea about marketing. I had no idea that this was gonna fail. But you know, I tried doing something like that. I remember making little braided bracelets and keychains, and sitting out on the porch. I remember sitting on my porch with a sign up that I was selling bracelets and keychains, and I would just sit there, like on a Saturday and Sunday afternoon, I would just sit there to sell bracelets and keychains. Did I sell any? Nope. But I sure thought it was a great idea, because it was easy to make the bracelets and I would just sell them. I can't remember how much I tried to sell them for, but I just remember not being able to sell any. I just sat on the porch. Of course, no marketing, because it was 1993. And I remember when my parents would have garage sales, they would let me keep the money from any of my old toys or anything that sold. So I remember thinking that was pretty cool, selling at garage sales. I remember I was getting ambitious with garage sales too. I remember taking, this is all true story. This is all what Lindey did when she was a kid. I was getting ballsy with what I was selling at the garage sale. So I remember taking an empty Kleenex box, an empty tissue box, and I filled it with rocks from the rock bed that surrounded the bushes in front of our house. I filled it with rocks. Filled this tissue box with rocks, and I tried selling this box of rocks for like $2 at the garage sale. My parents let me. They, you know, they saw the box, they let me do it. I don't know if my parents just figured they had more important things to worry about, so they weren't gonna fight me on selling a box of rocks from their, you know, flower bed or their rock bed. Or if they wanted to see, if they wanted to let me see it through. I don't know what their thought process was. I don't know if they were just letting me do it to see what would happen, or if they just were supportive. I don't know what they were thinking. And then I remember getting a little bit older. Some time had gone by. My parents had gotten divorced, and I remember moving, and I remember we were really strapped for cash after my parents got divorced. I remember that. And I remember cross-stitching. I remember cross-stitching these little pillows. My mom used to be really big into cross-stitch. Like, she would cross-stitch little pictures and things. And I remember thinking it was cool. So I was like 10, 11 years old cross-stitching, you know, just for fun. And I remember doing these little pillows. And when I say little pillows, I mean they were like this big. They were like this big. That was the size of a pillow. And I remember going door to door in my neighborhood. My parents did not put me up to this. This was just my whole entrepreneur mentality. I remember going door to door in my neighborhood trying to sell these pillows for like $2. These teeny tiny little pillows. I never sold any. So I guess that just goes to show that I had some damn ambition as a kid. I had some ambition. If one venture failed, boy, I was thinking of another one. Okay, selling bracelets and keychains isn't gonna work. Let's try a carnival. Oh, a carnival's not gonna work. Well, then let's try selling some little cross-stitch pillows. No, I had some ambition as a child, I'll tell you that. I had some ambition. And I know I've told all you guys that I learned how to sell on eBay from my dad, and that's true. You know, I think I learned a lot about entrepreneurship from my dad. I learned a lot about like profit and sourcing and what kind of things people are buying and things like that from my dad. But my dad didn't start on eBay until I was like 13, 14 years old. So all of these other little business ventures that I was doing when I was 8, 9 years old, it didn't come from my dad. It didn't come from watching my dad sell on eBay. It came from somewhere deep inside me as a child. I was a born entrepreneur, in my opinion. And then I learned how to do it better from my dad. I learned how to do it better from my dad, but I was born with it. Flash forward. This is where some of the story takes a little bit of a turn, and it turns into why I wanted to talk about it. Flash forward to me as an adult with children. My 11-year-old, he's in 6th grade now. He sees what I do. He knows what I do. You know, I have him help me put inventory away sometimes. He'll help me carry bags from Goodwill in. He's used to like me dragging him to garage sales. He knows that I go to Goodwill all the time. He knows what I do. He knows that I buy things and I sell them. I had some gum for sale on eBay, and it didn't sell close enough to when the expiration date was coming due. And you can only sell things on eBay when, you can only sell food items on eBay when the items are going to be delivered to the buyer by the time the expiration date passes. So about 30 days before the expiration date, I go ahead and I'll pull the item from being listed, because I don't want to run the risk of selling something to somebody past the expiration date. So 30 days to the expiration date, I'll pull it. And usually if it's candy or gum, I'll give it to my oldest son. So there was this gum, it wasn't selling, so I gave it to Jeremy. He comes home from school one day and he says, "Mom, I made $2 today." My son, my eldest child, took the gum that I had given him. It was it was Big Red bubble gum. It was like the small packs of Big Red, in case you're interested. He took these and sold them for 50 cents a piece at school. He sold the five packs of gum for 50 cents, and he sold individual sticks for 15 cents each. And he made some money. That kid. So then I realized this is a teaching opportunity, and I took him back to the store to buy some more gum. I had him use his money. I had him buy some more gum so that he could resell, and he ended up coming home. He ended up earning about $9 at the last point. This last point where I took him shopping, he earned $9, and he decided that he was going to expand. He wasn't just going to sell that one kind of gum. He was going to sell 2 different kinds of gum, and he was going to start selling mints. So he bought a bag of peppermints, and he was selling them for 5 cents each. Bag of peppermints for 5 cents each. And so my little entrepreneur is now selling gum and mints at school. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, so the point of all of this, entrepreneurs are born, they're made, and they're taught. You just have to figure out which one you are. If you are a born entrepreneur, it might come a lot easier to you than if you are just wanting to get into it and you're having to learn everything. Because there is a difference from having it instilled in your DNA. I mean, that's the way it feels for me. It feels like it's instilled in my DNA. There's a difference between having it in your DNA and being taught and then learning on your own. So just because you aren't a born entrepreneur, just because it's not in your blood, doesn't mean that it can't be learned. It just might take a little more work. But I truly believe that people can be born entrepreneurs. I didn't learn it anywhere when I was 8 years old. I didn't learn it. One day I did it. I didn't learn it from anybody. One day I just started making money because I thought it seemed like a cool idea. And then my son started doing it because he learned it from his mama. Hey, it could be in his blood too. He is my kid. But that's my story for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I like telling it. It's fun to relive it. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, or if you want to tell me If you think that you were born with it, tell me any little stories. Stick it down in the comments. I'd be interested to see how, if everybody that watches, I'd be interested to know if you're a born entrepreneur, if you learned it from somebody, if you taught yourself. I'd be curious to know how many are born, how many born and how many are made, how many are learning. That's kind of that's interesting to me to know. So, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to me, I hope you will. I hope you enjoyed the story.